salute to all y'all, man. On the real. I hope that whoever clicked on this video, man, is having a good day and you have peace of mind, y'all. But being overlooked, y'all, it's inevitable, y'all. No matter what you start doing, no matter where you are in your journey, or no matter who you are, somebody in this life will overlook you. That's just plain what it is, y'all. Because someone that is seeing you might not see that you have what it takes for them to feel like you are given attention. So that's why you can't put all your eggs in the basket, family. In this world, yes, you want to pick a purpose, but you want to stick with something that's going to help you, right? So being overlooked, y'all, is just anyone telling you that, it's not that they don't believe in you, but they don't see nothing about you that stands out. So they're going to toss you aside, or, they're just going to act like if you didn't exist. And I don't know, how you will feel about that. Everybody takes pain differently, y'all. Some people are going to hide themselves from the world. Others are going to take it as, a cut to the heart. But being overlooked, y'all, you're not just being overlooked to be overlooked. Probably because someone generally doesn't not fuck with you, y'all. That's the cold, harsh truth about reality, y'all. A lot of people are fighting to cling on to things, y'all. But if they're not feeling the same way about you, you gotta, dismember that. Or you just gotta walk away knowing that I know my worth. Your worth is all that matters in this world. So you will be overlooked, y'all, because your self-respect is gonna intrigue others and it's gonna intimidate others. That's only because you love yourself enough. Everybody else is on a phase to who they are. They might not even be aware of who they are fully. So it's not your fault. It's just the world around you, y'all, and how people were brought up. Maybe you had two parents and you were raised right, but somebody was homeless and they didn't have parents. So they, their mentality is, I don't care. So they're going to do what they got to do. Not for selfish desires, but because they were mentally, enslaved with nonsense, y'all. So they didn't have a proper head above their shoulders. So you should be asking yourself, if you feel overlooked, what are you going to do about that, y'all? You're not trying to win nobody's attention over, but you're trying to remind anybody who feels less towards you, that you are worth more than what they might think, or than their ass, 100% wise. You're not trying to get back at them. You're just trying to remind yourself and the world why people shouldn't, if you want to say, weigh their options out for you in a low manner. So people are going to treat you how you are being treated, and how you are showing yourself to the world, y'all. I've been overlooked before, and that has taught me that, well, I can't, accept what people throw at me, y'all, because I don't accept nothing if it ain't owning up to my expectations. That's how you should feel about yourself, especially for the ones that actually have that self-love, y'all. If you have self-love, you're not going to tolerate nothing, y'all. You're going to, remove your presence away from anything that, is trying to testify against you, because they're overlooking you, y'all. They don't believe in you, or they're just using you for something. You must figure out why. You must figure out what have you did to open yourself up in that way. Were you being too polite? Were you trying to offer everything at once, right, y'all? Or were you just, staying away from, the validation or the crowd, y'all? People get discouraged when you don't need a crowd, y'all, because people are gonna, you might not believe this, but people, yes, they look at you and they compare themselves to who you are. Because in a world like this, y'all, people are either gonna be happy or they're gonna be down and, envy for what you are doing or for what you have. You might be someone's friend from a long time ago, right? But if, you have a shawty who's of a queen, y'all, that not many others can get, well, everybody might just fall out your life or just not fuck with you because they gonna feel like you switched up because your lifestyle is of peace and happiness now. It's not that. It's just the universe has blessed you with, how you have treated yourself over the years. You're starting to do something better for yourself. So everybody wants to, come in now or just, act like if they was there. But the case is, y'all, You must accept this fact. You know, it's not that people are throwing you aside. You know, they just don't see you as someone that's gonna be with them, you know, for a long time. People weigh out their options, y'all. People are never selfish for no reason. They do that for, you know, intentions that only they know. So if someone, you know, doesn't see your worth, or they just, you know, say you tell someone your goals, or you have ambitions to be inspirational, like myself, they might laugh at you. They might, you know, not even say nothing at that point, because you have, unlike them, the power of belief. So you're gonna take action on what your purpose is, right? Not them. That's why they didn't say nothing, or that's probably why they have a grin, right? And they look down because they're like, oh shit, he has a purpose, he has goals, he's striving. But unlike them, they can't relate to you. And that's what separates winners from losers, or from the eaters to the ones that are, you know, beggars. You have chose your mission. You are fulfilling that, whether it's daily, whether it's, you know, over a yearly, or just, you know, monthly, whatever you are doing and how long it takes you to do that, you are still fulfilling something that everybody can't do, y'all. And that's why, you know, God has removed them, because they don't have the kind of momentum to, you know, stay with you on your path. Your path is all about elevating, thinking outside the box, and seeing life differently over time. You're not gonna rush nothing now, y'all, but you're just in a phase to where you're not taking nothing. You're producing, creating, and making what hasn't been created yet, y'all. This content, this energy, this passion, this presence, right? But you might want to get back at someone, or you might try to, you know, feel like, damn, who the fuck they think they are, right? But I'm gonna tell you, save your energy and just keep on focusing on your aspirations, your goals, or just what you have came down here to, you know, fulfill. What do you see yourself doing right now? You know, do you feel like, you know, you are a creator? Do you feel like you are an owner? Or, you know, you feel more comfortable being an employee, y'all? You gotta answer that question for yourself. You know, it's gonna hit you eventually one day, because over time, or over just a period, you're gonna feel like, this ain't for me, or I should be doing better, because your worth starts to rise. Once you're, you know, you are rising, y'all, everything about you starts rising, y'all. So that's why people can't hang with you, y'all. Their spirit mentally, y'all, it's not like yours. Your spirit is seeking betterance. Your spirit is seeking, you know, not being alone, but, you know, plotting and taking action on every pinpoint that is available. Unlike them, y'all, they are looking for the next high off of, you know, that dopamine hit, or they are just worrying about what they can do or what they can get out of people. So this is why I remind you, family, you know, what just, you know, being a person who was kind, caring, and, you know, showing, you know, my affection to people, not just, you know, relationships, but friendships as well, y'all. When you have bonds like that, you try to be real, but you try to be, you know, not too much, you know, of caring. You're more so nonchalant, because you don't want people to use that against you and stab you with a fucking knife, you know. So I give you this, family, before I, you know, come off the camera. You feel that way because you are being overlooked, y'all. That's your intuition showing you, you know, what you can't see physically, y'all. Because they might have never cut you off physically. They might have just walked away and you never heard from them again. Or they might as well just, you know, you could tell by energy, y'all, because energy never lies, y'all. So if they're on that fake shit with you, you know, because you sense it, you know. But yes, they are looking, you know, that for you, because remember, y'all, they just, you know, they're bait, y'all, to the world. So, you know, they're looking for highs externally. You're not. You're looking for a goal that you can, you know, pinpoint and see how far you can get with it over time. That's progression, y'all. That's legacy, or that's purpose. They're not seeing, you know, life like you, y'all. And that's why when they overlook you or they cut you off, you take it to the heart. They don't. That's why I say it's best to just focus on yourself, family. And that energy that they are putting onto you or sending you, y'all, it's going to strengthen you over time, because you're going to look at it like, you know, that's fakeness. But they're looking at it as, you know, what's a better alternative? So they're comparing you to other people, y'all, because they see that your worth is nothing to them. That's why I say, y'all, for you, only thing you can do is remind yourself how people move in this world, and to keep going, and to, gain more awareness with a motivational side of this, because now you know that how people are. Well, you can't, if you want to say rely on them, y'all, you can't at all. That's why, a purpose comes down to yourself. If you have a purpose, y'all, and you are thinking about executing, stop waiting for friends that have purposes. Just take action nonstop every day when you can. But people are going to overlook you no matter what. You can't get around that, y'all, because let's just say, fine shit is around you. You might fuck with her. She might overlook you, though, not even knowing, because she's looking for the best. She's, comparing you and contrasting you to other people. That should make you feel some type of way, because you know your worth. You know your self-love, and you know your value's high. So if she's comparing you, it's pretty much going to the store and saying what's better, the real brand or the generic brand, y'all. So that's why I tell y'all, chosen ones, don't worry about them. Forget them. They tossed themselves aside when they degraded you. You didn't do nothing. All you did was stay, executing. Stay, with a purpose in mind. Unlike them, they're on a bed laying down with no fucking thoughts coming in, because they ain't even looking at themselves long-term jeopardy-wise, y'all. That's the most scariest thing about this society, y'all. What's actually terrifying is someone who's not gonna, live like as they're already close to their dying point, because they're just living without a brain or a head, y'all, because they're not thinking properly, y'all. You are young, strong, and more of an energy now in your younger days. So why are you not gonna, become something, or make something out of that, y'all? While, you have the freedom. People who are older and shit like that, y'all, they throw their lives away because they choose to do things last minute wise, or they finally, realize after living that whole fucking lifespan that they, been up to. That's when they realize. And that's for someone who has been, experiencing life forever on this realm, if they have lived a long life. That just shows you that, you don't want to be like them. So take every experience that was taught or was shown to you and become better for them and for you, because you remind yourself every day how y'all are not alike. Remember, you're seeking progression, you're seeking elevation, you're seeking helping the next soul out here. Not everybody's thinking like you. People are waiting to, bully others. People are waiting to, snake you behind your back. There's somebody plotting right now to kill somebody, y'all. And you're telling me that this ain't hell? You just haven't experienced enough hell yet. If you haven't got there yet, y'all. Remember, I express my experiences through these videos that I drop onto y'all daily, or at a time. But I remind y'all, this experience that I have lived is mine. So don't compare yourself to mine, y'all. If you haven't experienced, a sad, storyline like mine, y'all. If you have, well, then it's better for you to get this so you can relate. But that girl or that homie that, pushed you aside or has overlooked you, y'all, well, that's because there's many reasons for that. They see that you are too much of a being to catch up to. So, while you're right here, going higher and higher and higher, seeking more potential, they're right here. And they don't even know where your mind is at. So that's why they walk away, because they can't handle your power. Remember, your power is going up. Their power is staying down or staying still. And another thing about you is you're not hesitating. You already see where you're going. They don't. So they don't want to feel intimidated by you when you're around them. Or simply, y'all, they just don't care about you, y'all. But someone's got to tell you that they don't care about you, because now that you know that they don't care about you, chosen one, what are you going to do about that? I know it might hurt you, but are you going to stay stuck in that pit? Or are you going to, shake back, tunnel vision, eyes open, locked in, not taking notes from nobody anymore, just acting, right? So that's why I remind you, you better start acting now, y'all, while you have the time. Or their words that they have pushed onto you, or just their actions will will creep up on you, y'all. And, you know, it's going to give them more power because, you know, what they did stated that they made the right choice by walking away from you because you didn't do nothing. So that's why I remind you, chosen one, you know, don't let that pain or that fire or just that excess energy that they put onto you, you know, disintegrate. You better turn that shit into, you know, legacy. You better turn everything that everyone has said about you, y'all, into their poison. Because best believe when you win, you are winning now because you showed up. But I'm just reminding you, when you win, y'all, it's inevitable, y'all. No one can stop you from winning because you're not stopping. Better not, y'all. You're not even looking at loss. You're only seeing wins, progressions, elevation. So you can't. There's no L's in that, y'all. All you gotta do is let time catch up with you, and you know, let what they have pushed onto you be a reminder to why you can't stop and to why you don't tolerate nothing less than your worth, y'all. So this video, you know, I hope that this has helped somebody, y'all. Especially for my people who are going through a phase of being stuck and, you know, not comfortability, y'all, but just, you know, simple sadness, y'all. We all have experienced that state, you know. I might be sad right now, and you might not even know, but I still push the video out, y'all, because I love making the content, and I help a soul because people, they fuck with my feedback, y'all. So I just want to say before I get off this camera, man, you are overlooked now, but you won't be overlooked forever, y'all, if you stay on the path to greatness, if you keep showing up for yourself. Because you just showing up is showing them that your worth is all that matters, because you know your worth, chosen one. Now, let me ask you something. I know it might hurt you, right? But would you rather, you know, keep them with you and they're not nothing but relying on you and trying to use you for things the more you start rising and becoming of somebody with character? Or would you rather them, you know, let their self, you know, remove their own energy instead of, you know, you removing them? Because now they're showing you that they don't want nothing to do with you, y'all, because you're too much for them. Take that as a compliment, y'all, because you didn't have to remove them. They removed themselves, y'all. So they made life easier for you to see with tunnel vision. Now, for the people who don't want to sit in that silence, y'all, and are really hurt by the, you know, being overlooked, y'all, there's nothing you can do about that, y'all. The only thing you can do, y'all, is to, you know, defy against that. You know, stand in defiance, y'all. Start, you know, accepting what reality is, y'all. Not everybody's friendly. The world is hell, and life is gonna treat you on how you are being treated, y'all. So I just want to remind you, man, don't let what anyone tells you drop you down in frequency to where you feel dumb, or you feel like you don't want to be yourself, because that's power that people have over you, chosen one. Don't give nobody no power, y'all. You don't want to feel controlled like an animated character or a fucking animatronic. No. So this was a video, family. This is why, no matter what, find shit, bestie, homie, day ones, family, it don't matter who it is, somebody's gonna overlook you, y'all. And you might see it or you might not, but that doesn't mean they didn't overlook you. Your worth is not to prove them wrong or to prove them right. It's to show them that you didn't need their ass. You're doing better without them. So this was the video, family. I hope that, you know, if you fucked with it, drop something down in the comments, y'all, and I will respond to anybody who's going through things that they don't want to talk about to anybody else, y'all. You know, I'm a creator, y'all. I'm an inspirational, you know, creator at that. So I give y'all details based upon my life and what I've experienced, y'all, to remind you that, you know, don't give power to other people, y'all, for what they are telling you. No, because it's gonna make you feel slow. It's gonna make other people start treating you that way as well, y'all. If you don't have no balls, well then ain't nobody gonna respect the momentum your balls are moving at, y'all. Because in a scientific breakdown, y'all, you are the magnet, you are the power, you are the key. I said that in many of my videos. Now, you know, everybody's considered a house or a key, depending on how they are looking at you. Because, well, if they're your soul family, your tribe, or your soulmate, they're going to accept you in the house that they are. But if they're not, well, they're gonna walk away from you, family, because they can't handle your power. Your power is standing up in belief and that confidence that you are not gonna, downgrade, but amplify up. That's what they, are intimidated by, because they don't have that. But I'll see you on the next video, family. Till tomorrow, But I remind you, do not give nobody power, even if they overlook you, or even if they don't. Don't give them power at all. It's better if they overlook you, because now you got more people to prove wrong. That's how you got to think about it, family. Because what they see or what they are doing doesn't matter, because I'm the magician in my reality, y'all. So I don't give a fuck about them. Fuck them. That's their loss, y'all. And for you, it is their loss as well, because you are worth more than anything that's material. You are the universe, y'all. You are just a walking incarnation of that. But I'll see you on the next video, chosen one. Stay up and elevated.